Earthfire Institute is a wildlife sanctuary and retreat center located near the southern tip of the Yellowstone to Yukon Wildlife Corridor, one of the last intact mountain ecosystems in the world. In addition to protecting land for wildlife conservation and working as a licensed wildlife rehabilitation facility, Earthfire is home to a wide array of native wildlife that cannot be returned to the wild, including bears, wolves, foxes, coyotes, bison, and others. The Institute is also the birthplace of the emerging field of reconnection ecology, a model that aims to foster deep connections between humans and nature, guiding people to recognize their interdependence on the species that live alongside us and to fully grasp our impact on the health of our planet.
The mission of Earthfire is to expand our sense of community to truly include all living beings. So we don't have trees that we can just cut down. You don't cut down members of a community, not without real care and consideration. So to expand our sense of community. And if we do that, most of our environmental problems would actually disappear.
Since the inception of Earthfire Institute in the year 2000, facilities have been lovingly hand-built by founders John Simpson and Susan Eyrich. Materials from landfills and local construction projects were harvested for reuse, and the expansion of outbuildings and animal enclosures occurred as funding allowed. Earthfire's infrastructure, including plumbing, electrical, and irrigation, has undergone continual expansion to provide the animals with the best possible care. Now, as we celebrate our 20th year of operation, we are preparing to begin much-needed infrastructure renovations. This rebuilding aims to create habitat enrichment for the sanctuary animals and to better serve injured wildlife brought to us for rehabilitation and release. However, as an organization that ascribes great worth to the well-being of all forms of life, it was important to consider the impact such a rebuild might have on the land itself.
One of the most important things, I think, for all of us humans is to learn how to live with the earth from which we arise and how to live with the land. And that means first honor the land and then build from the feeling of the land. If we did that, we would have a profound sense of home and place and grounding, and that would heal us and help us make good decisions, personal and for other humans and for the planet. Permaculture gives us some of the principles by which we can actually do human things, build things, but in tune with nature to the extent possible.
Permaculture is a design approach for sustainable living and land use that's rooted in the observation of natural systems. So the idea is, how do we meet all our food, shelter, and energy needs while having a minimal impact on the environment, and while also thinking about future generations. It takes sustainability to a new level. How do we create diverse, stable, resilient systems so that we can live more harmoniously with the earth?
This is Corinne Irby, founder of Broken Ground, a permaculture consulting company based in Bozeman, Montana. When we started exploring what it would take to incorporate permaculture on our 40-acre property, we sought an experienced mentor who could lead us through the process.
Permaculture is an immensely and beautifully complex topic because it's how all these systems play into with one another. It really requires someone who studied it and lived it and felt it in order to be able to guide us. And Corinne just had a really good feel about it.
So I founded my business, Broken Ground, in 2011, and it was mostly in response to having been an activist for many years and always being against someone or something and really wanting to move towards and pivot towards positive solutions. Really being concerned about the ecological crises, all of the environmental issues that we are constantly dealing with every day, what can we do to be part of the solution? So I founded my business in 2011, started by just teaching people how to grow their own food, teaching people how to garden, which evolved more into how to better design your yard, which now has evolved into how better to design your life, that all of this is integrated.
In March of 2020, we invited Corrine to teach our team about permaculture principles before designing the land use plan that will guide our growth and development in the future.
I enjoy taking clients through a design process because ultimately the best person to design your land is yourself. You know, you're the one that's been on it the longest. You see the patterns, you understand how you use the land, how you move through the property, what the needs of everyone, including animal species, are on that property. The more that I can engage people in participating in the design themselves, the better. Permaculture is about whole systems design. It's not only looking at the land, but it's looking at the people that live on the land. It's looking at the animals that are also on the land with you. How do you integrate that all and make it such that you create this, what becomes a harmonious design in terms of what your life goals are, and while at the same time being in harmony with the earth and being able to live your values.
Over the course of 3 days, Corrine and the team took a close look at the needs of our organization, the land, and both resident and wild animals, identifying ways we can structure the rebuild to work in tandem with the natural systems of the property.
In addition to the regular permaculture thinking, with Earthfire, we're adding the animals that we have. And I think we're the first place that's doing that. And I think it's really important. You're not building on the land with areas for particular animals. We're actually trying to make it a whole. We can particularly do that because all the animals here are native to the area. So it's a way of ideally having a model for how to live with the animals, the native animals and the land and human beings in one harmonious unit.
One of the benefits is that permaculture teaches you a way to integrate your landscape. And I think as Earthfire thinks about taking their organization to the next level and really wanting to create this beautiful wildlife sanctuary for animals, I think this whole idea of integrating spaces, creating beautiful spaces that are connected, that close the loop on waste, for example, that are well designed, will really benefit Earthfire. And in the end, permaculture teaches you how to live in right relationship with the earth and with the land that you live on. And I think that the people at Earthfire have been doing that, but I think we can all learn from how to be in better relationship with our land by observing it more, by being connected to it more, by being able to understand the wind and the rain and the patterns that come onto a place and onto a piece of land, and to design accordingly.
In the weeks since Corrine visited Earthfire, she has taken the team's notes and drawings and completed the initial designs of our new land use plan. This plan includes improvements to animal enclosures and workflow for animal care, increased visitor access, and natural resource management. The team also hired Steve Hill, an animal behavior expert from the UK who specializes in animal enrichment. After a site visit last fall, Steve designed several new animal enclosures that mimic as closely as possible a life in the wild. These new enclosures will fit within Corrine's design and allow our resident animals to engage in a variety of natural behaviors, including foraging, climbing, playing, and digging dens. As we move forward with such a large redesign, it does present some new challenges for the Earthfire team.
You may want to put everything in all at once, but that's just not going to happen. So what oftentimes I've seen happen is that you may have a lot of capital up front, you put everything in, and then you have no way to maintain it. So a lot of people don't think well enough through the social systems design. In other words, we can put all this stuff on the landscape, but who do you have who is going to help both install it and then maintain it over time. One of the permaculture principles is use small and slow solutions, right? Start small. You can have a bigger master plan, but starting small and growing into your space as time and energy allow, as budget allows, is, in my opinion, a much better way to approach a permaculture design rather than putting everything in all at once.
The challenges for us at Earthfire in terms of implementing permaculture are primarily financial and human team members. And it's not just finding people, it's finding people with an exquisite sensibility so that everything we do really, to the extent we can, resonates with the earth and natural systems and humans and animals.
Because the ultimate goal is improving the lives of the animals that live at Earthfire, we are eager to move forward despite these challenges. We are ready to break ground on the new enclosures, and we anticipate that the entire project will be completed in 3 to 5 years. We also hope that by restoring our land to a more natural state, we can help visitors rediscover our identity as integral parts of the ecosystems in which we live. We believe that by providing a healthy atmosphere for repairing these lost connections, we can help individuals learn to value and respect all life, including their own.
The reason that I like permaculture so much is it's about reconnection to place. We're just disconnected from natural systems, and permaculture is an invitation to reconnect. It's an invitation to reconnect through observation of your place. It's an invitation to reconnect by growing more of your own food. It's an invitation to reconnect by enhancing wildlife habitat. So in all of those ways, it's reconnecting to what makes us human. And I think that permaculture gives you a framework to design a life that is more in tune with how humans are meant to be on this planet, ultimately. And I think that people are waking up to that. And people are recognizing that there's a better way to be in relationship with the non-human species on this earth and with the land itself.
I think what we all want is to live in beauty and health and harmony. And to the extent permaculture as a philosophy and a design that arose from respect for the earth can do that, I want it to be a part of our planning and our thinking and our building and our operating. So the principles of permaculture are holistic and respectful of all life, and incredibly beautiful in terms of how one thing feeds into another, into a whole system. Not as beautiful as nature, and not as complicated as nature, but it's got a similar feel. So the end result of something that a person comes and looks at something that's been designed that way, it's like, oh.
It all begins with the living land. You can help us strengthen Earthfire's mission by joining us at the start, the first shovelful of soil. If you would like to support our mission and help us introduce the principles of permaculture to our entire 40-acre site, please consider making a donation on our website, www.earthfireinstitute.org. Your contribution will help us restore the health and vitality of our land, improve the lives of our animals, and ensure the future of our sanctuary for years to come.